Warning: the following video may have language that some viewers may find offensive, and others are already offended. Viewer discretion is advised, but not really. No animals were hurt in the making of this 4-hour feature film.
Quite often I mix it up. I'm actually wearing Amanda today. I don't know if that comes across on here or not, but yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. Now, this one I found pretty funny because we've got quite the face with the old football cup here. So
So that's a picture of the Grey Cup. My two cousins, my cousins' two boys play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
And we were at their house with that. And a friend of mine that played football with my brother, Jed Tommy, is actually on that Grey Cup. And I'm pretending to, I sent him a message. I said, Jed, I can't find your name. And I got the file there. So it says this, I'm filing his name off the cup. So
that is awesome. Oh, you're filing.
Yeah.
Hello and good day to you all. Welcome to the Full Monty, the video podcast where we get to meet the person behind the person. Please welcome today our guest. He's the past mayor for the city of St. Thomas, currently sits as a council member, and he's also one amazing mortgage agent. Somebody that I personally got to know quite a few years ago, and I can say that he truly wants to make sure that you get the best deals possible. Please welcome to the big brown comfy couch, Mr. Jeff Kohler. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Tony. It's great to be here.
I appreciate you coming in, and I know you've been on the road all day, pretty much. So, thanks coming in, talking about a little bit about yourself. So, Jeff, let's get right into it. So, tell us a little bit when you grew up, where you're born, that kind of stuff. Where'd you go to school?
So I was born in London, Ontario, and at the age of 5, my family moved here. My dad worked at General Motors in London and ended up building a house here in town on the north end here, Warren Crescent. So just right in my old stomping grounds, coming here to tape this. But yeah, we moved here when I was 5 years old, and I've been here ever since. Went to school at the Locks School, Locks Community, loved that. The Locks Community Fair, some great memories that we had there. And when I went from Locks School, ended up graduating from Arthur Voden Secondary School.
Okay. Locks School, what a community that was back in the day. I mean, that's well before I've been here about 20 years now, I guess, but I've heard so much. It was quite a community. The fair, the wintertime, the ice rink.
Yeah, we had a great livelihood here as a child growing up. You know, a lot of people thought there wasn't many things to do for a kid, but in this area, we created our own things. And then the Locks Community Fair, that's something that I'll never forget. It's been a long time since it was in existence, but just something that I fondly remember as a child growing up in St. Thomas.
So cool. So as growing up, getting through high school, so what was your first job?
Actually, first job, loved it. And maybe in retirement, maybe you'll see me back doing something like that again. But I grew up working at A&P and just loved every minute of it. The social aspect that just came with the job, getting to meet people, talk to people, and loved that. Got lots of scars on my legs from the parcel pickup and those trailer hitches. But just loved every minute of working there. The people that
I remember those. You pull up the big red bins, and people would. Did you have the cardboard numbers?
Yeah, we had the little cardboard numbers that you would collect from the window, and then you'd match it up with the bin. And I'm going to say, because I don't think that there's anybody that can prove me wrong, that I never missed up one order. So.
Oh, didn't you?
But there you go. Like I say, I just loved that job. I was fortunate. My brother actually worked there prior to me getting in, so he did a great job there. So it was pretty good.
Now that's where, is it where Metro is now, or is that where Food Basics?
Food Basics uptown.
Yeah, which was the old Giant Tiger.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think I remember Steve Peters talking about that at one time. I mean, Steve's our historian, right?
Yeah, so, Steve actually worked there. He and I worked there together for a short time.
Oh, did you?
And like I say, it was just a great job. And I think I can speak for him too. I know he loved every minute of it
Hey, I
too.
did it in Grand Bend. I worked at IGA. John Wright was a fellow that owned it back then, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, back then we also packed people's groceries, stand at the end of the counter, and you know, when it came down the belt, we got to meet so many great people. And stocking shelves probably wasn't the most glorifying thing I've ever done, but it was fun.
Well, that was part of it too, but I think, you know, and looking back, and maybe Steve thinks the same thing, it's part and parcel of helping people, right? People would come in and you'd be there stocking the shelf, doing things, and they'd need some help, and then you would take that time and go and help them, and you know, in the meantime, got a chance to get to know them and talk to them too. But it was, like I say, a very enjoyable job, and something that I'd maybe go back to help pass some time.
Oh, you know what? I've always said too that the day when I guess my retirement comes, I'll never fully retire. I just, it's not me. I can't. You know, I'm always busy. I'm doing something. So even my job currently is a job that I can, you know, as God lets me keep doing it till I'm 80. If I can still do this, I'll do it. Gearlings Home Hardware, I said I'd love to go back and just maybe work in the store or the lumberyard, walk around there a couple of days a week.
Yeah, I think healthy mind and keep your body going. It's something that's important. Tony, I can tell you I've had a few jobs at the same time all my life, and I think I'm in the same boat as you. And when I do choose to retire from my main job, probably the same thing that you just said. And I think, in all honesty, that keeps you healthy. Some people retire and don't find something else to do, and then end up, for a lack of a better word, become a couch potato. And I think you see how that reflects on their health after that, right?
I couldn't do that. For one is, I would be eating everything in sight. I'd have to get all new clothes. I would be huge. Couldn't move.
Yeah.
I can't, you know. And even when I'm sick, I'm down maybe a day. I'm still sick, but I got to get up. I got to go do something. I can't now. One of the things, you know, like I said, you've been on council for a lot of years now. Amazing. I mean, I've always been, I don't know what the appropriate word would be. I've just always been impressed with the people that actually do run, that get in there. You know, there's so many people that are very vocal. They tell you all the things that are wrong, and it should be this, and how can you do that? But they never do anything to help, you know, do it. The last couple of terms, I actually thought about running, and backed out. You know, I helped another friend that was in there that was campaigning for mayor. Rose finally won, you know, bless her. I said, I think I told you, and I told Joe, and I said, if she did not get elected this time, she's got to get an award for the most determined person trying to get on there, right? Anyway, so you've been doing that for a lot of years, which is quite the thing. But the one I wanted to talk to you about is something that for mortgages on houses, right? You're an agent for what's the company that you work for, or a brokerage?
So we're we're the OMAC team within the TMG group, the mortgage group. So yeah, we're the OMAC division of that. So we are part, and it's called Powered by the Mortgage Group. So yeah, we work within underneath that umbrella. Okay,
so you explain a little bit about this for me, Jeff. So today's world, this is crazy. I mean, the way we saw the housing market go from pre-COVID, and then what we've seen, and it's not just housing. I mean, everything has exploded in prices. But somebody new coming into the market now, like they want to get out of the apartment, or they're venturing out. Okay, so they're going to buy. So tell me a little bit about what's the difference between, okay, they go to a bank or a typical lending provider compared to a mortgage broker or agent. So what's the difference in there? Is it because of, there you go, I'm so excited I'm hitting my own mic. So lending, like banks and stuff, okay, so you're just dealing with them. You get the opportunity to look various places, do you not?
Yes, working with the brokerage as an agent, we work with 50 plus lenders right now. So when you come to an agent versus a bank, we can shop around for the best deal and maybe some lower rates, and then provide some other options maybe for some people that can't get traditional lending through a bank. So it does open that up for better the possibility of just getting the mortgage that suits you.
Okay, so just because a bank may be a place where you can't go, or you've tried and they've shut you down, but that's not the end of the line then.
No, that's not. If you came to an agent or a broker, then we got some alternatives to look at your situation, and then we can look at the different lenders that we have through private or sub B contract lenders that we have that will give you the opportunity to get into the market or stay in the market if you ran into some trouble with your existing mortgage maybe.
So how do we do this then? I'm Mr. John Smith, and this is my very first venture into getting into a property. Do I search, like, say I'm going to go the route of a mortgage broker, so I'm looking for an agent, I find you. But that's my first checklist. On the checklist, you are my first item, is find a mortgage broker, talk to the agent, tell them it before you go and find a real estate agent or something, right? What's the list? How would a new person progress into this?
So yeah, my recommendation would be before you go out searching for houses, is to find out your situation. And if you approach a mortgage agent or broker, they'll be able to sit with you, go through everything that you have, look at your credit bureau, look at what you have for a down payment, and be able to assess your current situation, and then let you know what range you could even look at as a potential buyer, right? And that's, in my opinion, that's the very first thing that you should do. Some people go out, look at houses, put offers in on places, and then find out later on that what they put in for an offer they actually can't sustain or can't afford, right? So then you end up losing that deal that you have. But this way, if you get that pre-approval ahead of time for looking at the agent or mortgage agent, then you can get in comfort, be out there knowing that you're shopping within your means.
Okay, so you're out there. Do you do like a pre-mortgage, like a pre-approval? Can you do that with somebody so that then they know what dollar figure that they're looking for?
Yes. So yeah, we do that all the time and get a pre-approval, and then that way you know exactly what range you can look in. So we at that time we can even send it into a lender that will guarantee your rate for 120 days. So that's a good thing too in the market where the interest rates are fluctuating. So you get that pre-approval, and that'll guarantee that rate for the next 120 days. And if the rates go up, you still get that lower rate. If the rates go down, we can adjust that. So it works in your favor that way. Once you get that 120-day commitment, you know that you're not going to pay any higher than that if you find a house within that 120 days. Okay,
so Mr. John Smith comes see you. You get pre-approval. Said, okay, you can go out and get $375,000. We can get up to that. Just a number. Mm-hmm. Now his next step is he will go out then and start looking the market or real estate agents. You can actually talk to, maybe you have your own favorite real estate guy that can go out and look for you, try and find your stuff. Now, do they say the house comes up? Now, does that agent contact you, or is it the person that will come back?
We still work with that individual, but then we still have contacts. So we would get the MLS from the agent, get the offer to purchase from the agent or from the individual, depending. But to make things easier, it's easier for the real estate agent just to send us that information directly, and so we can work with them and get things done a little quicker. But that's what I find now too. Some of the real estate agents actually won't work with a customer now unless they have that pre-approval, because the market has changed so much, right? So, and then there's a lot of time invested in a real estate agent too, where you go around and you're showing the people the houses, and then find out after you get a deal on the table that they don't qualify for that current mortgage. So it's the first step should be to find out what your situation is, so you're shopping within your means.
Yeah. So now, today, the way the prices and everything went. So we have people that have purchased a home, how the interest rates, everything went up. And now we see a lot of people that are getting foreclosures, they're selling, they're walking away. They can't afford what's happening. So what are you seeing? What's the best advice for somebody, say that their mortgage rates, they're up for refinancing, and now they've got to pay a lot more than what they were. So what do you do, Jeff?
See, that's where, again, contact your agent, and then, you can look at the situation. So there's lots of options too at that time. Move to a lender that has extended amortization, so you can look at spreading it out to lower that payment down to help out at that time. So there are options. Some people won't make that contact and end up going through a consumer proposal or even bankruptcy. But as long as you got equity in your house, there's options if you contact an agent or broker to look at what you can do. But that's part of the looking at it, finding an extended amortization, and you can do it short term, long term. But just sitting down, talking with an agent to go through those options is something that can help you be more comfortable with the final decision that you make.
Do you ever see, I don't think prices will never come down like how we were, but they've come down a bit. Like, what do you see, what do you personally think, like, in the future going forward? Do you see things stabilizing a little bit, maybe coming down a little more reasonable, or what?
So I think until the supply is addressed, I think we'll be kind of hovering in around this, because that's what's happening right now. The increased interest rates has helped, as you said, bring them back down a little bit, because what it's done, it's taken a lot of people out of the market. It hasn't addressed the supply, because now you have people that need housing but just can't afford housing. So that's one of the problems. So right now, I guess going back to my city council hat, is what we're trying to deal with is the supply in the city. There's a huge lack of supply for housing right now. And just like the stock market, the lack of supply drives the market up, right? So,
well, and we were just talking about this the other day, because even before what's coming in the future with the battery plant and all the other spin-off plants, our market housing has already been, low, and we've needed some then. Now we're going to be really screaming for homes. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a lot of people coming to this area. I know here, as renting in the building here, our rents have gone, just skyrocket. And I mean, it's not just us, it's across the board. No matter where you go, rents that were, $900 to $1,100 are now $1,800 to $2,100 for a 2-bedroom apartment. Mm-hmm. It's got to a point where the demand is so high, but the rents are so high that the most of the ordinary people, they can't afford that. It's people coming from, big city, or they have wealth or whatever, they can come and they can get it. But with the rents being this way, and now I see with the new plants coming, that's a lot of, spin-off plants, a lot of jobs. We've got Amazon opened up. We've got new buildings underway now downtown. Fast Forward Ventures, mm-hmm. I think it's building the 14-story, the old Timken factory. Elma College site, I think, is on phase 2 or something now. Yep. They're starting. So housing, I'm sure Doug Terry, Hayho, all them guys are going full speed ahead. They're trying to, get the land and get things serviced and all that kind of stuff. So the housing we definitely need. Is council then, do you guys, to help this out, so are you trying to eliminate some of the red tape for the developers? How do you attract more builders? And I know we do need more geared to income housing, or, I mean, that's more of a government thing. There's private groups. I think, like Stratford, we used to live in one, it was a co-operators. It was a co-op that all the tenants would be part of the community, and you had lower rents and things like that. But you just can't come up with houses and just slap them up and geared to income. Right. It's got to be revenued, or, governed by somebody. So what is in the city plans then, like for developers, Doug Terry and things like that? Like, do you help them council-wise try to make it easier for them to get in there and get building?
So on the social housing part, we have our community improvement plan that we've been able to work with public-private partnerships to create some housing that way. You mentioned the development on Talbot Street. Through the community improvement plan, we were able to negotiate 5 units in that development for affordable housing. So we continue to try to do whatever we can within our powers to encourage that, and we've had a lot of, like I say, partnerships with some private companies that we invest in with them. The station that just opened with over 40 residential units in there that we partnered with Bendel to create, and we continue to look at that, and we're still working with the community on the tiny home project, and so social housing is something that we're actively promoting and creating and working with the provincial and federal governments to make sure that we continue to increase our supply. On the private part of it, council just started the process with new residential lands, designating that to the north in land that is within the city boundary to ensure that that asset is going to be there, and developers then can go out and pursue the purchasing of that land for future development. You mentioned Doug Terry and other developers in town. They currently have land not only within the municipality, but in the surrounding municipalities that are ready to go for that. But that's the biggest thing right now to kind of get things back in line, is to increase that supply. And with the increased rates too right now, that's something that prohibits some developers, right? Because you got to do a lot of investing to make sure that you can get those houses up and built. And with that increased interest rates, that some of them had to pull back and slow things down a little bit. But hopefully in the near future we'll see some of that decrease. But on the same token, that'll come in and provide some difficulty, because now what's going to happen is that you'll put some more people within the market, because as the interest rates come down, more people will be able to afford. So what I've seen happening in the mortgage industry is that, because right now the 5-year mortgage is sub 6%, so you can get a 5-year mortgage for 5.4% depending on what lender you go to, where the variable interest is still prime minus 90 right now if you buy it, and the prime is 7.2, so it's a little higher to get a variable rate, because the anticipation is that it's going to go down. So a lot of the lenders and banks want to lock you in for the 5 years to guarantee that they have that money. But as the interest rates fall, right, more people become in the market, because right now at a 5-year fixed interest rate, you have to, the qualifying rate is 2% above the contract rate. So you're not qualifying at the 5.4, you're actually qualifying at 7.54 or 44, right? So, and then same thing with the variable. If you're looking at prime minus 90, you're going to be 6.5% plus 2%. So that there has taken a lot of people out of the market. But as the interest rates drop, more people are now finding it affordable, and they get into it, and then it could, with the lack of supply, create that.
So you're seeing it pick up a little bit now?
A little, right now it's still kind of steady, but there's still a lot of people that, as you said, some current homeowners can't even really afford the current rate. So a lot of new people are trying to get in, they might be able to afford a $250,000 mortgage. Well, there's not many houses that are on the market right now for that price. So
income properties, do you see that picking up a little bit now? Maybe people are buying a place, so let's do an income property to help. So
that, with, as you said, with the rents that are happening, some investors are getting back in the market now, because they look at the reward of the added increase in rent that they can charge to be worth some of the headache that they might get with owning an income property. So some people are doing that, and that's what's happening with the current building. More people are investing in rentals, because the rate of return is back again, right? Because people converting sometimes single family into residential or into multi-residential for that investment aspect as well. So
now, since the Volkswagen battery plant got announced, we know there's going to be a lot of spin-off plants and things. So have you noticed a more inquiry uptick? People looking for property here now that maybe they want to get here before all this actually comes to fruition. And
yeah, there's a lot of activity right now, commercial, industrial, and even people residential that are looking to locate in St. Thomas with some of the things that we have to offer. So yeah, a lot of excitement around St. Thomas. And right now, when you look at the growth, there's a lot of growth right now that isn't even tied to VW yet. So there's a lot of things that are happening. Some people like that, other people are afraid of that. But at the end of the day, especially as the councilor, again, to help mitigate tax increases and the pressure on local people for taxes, this growth is necessary to make sure.
I mean, I've listened to both sides. Just as you said, I find it exciting as hell for us. I really do. I think change is scary. Some people don't like change. Some are comfortable with it. The one thing that I've heard good about battery thing, I've heard bad about EV cars, whatever. I don't care what side you're on, but if we didn't get that plant, it was going somewhere. Right. I look at it, man, we are lucky that we got it for here. I mean, we did really well. And, it is a good benefit for us, our roads that are going to get changed. And there's going to be a lot of changes here in the next 5 years.
Right.
A lot of infrastructure work and everything else going on. So, I mean, it is pretty exciting. I guess the future for me, even an EV car, not even considering it until I know I can drive all the way up to, North Bay and not have to sit twice and for an hour somewhere trying to get a charge.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. And I know when you talk about luck, like there was a lot of good work that was in place, but at the end of the day, it does come down to a selection. And there was a lot of communities north of the border and south of the border that were actively going after this. And our council and staff did an amazing job working with the province and the federal government to actually secure this here in Canada. And at the end of the day, it's going to be good jobs in St. Thomas and Elgin County. Yep. People are going to benefit from everybody. London's going to benefit from this whole environment. And at the end of the day, like you say, some people love it, some people don't like it. I currently don't have an electric vehicle, but at the end of the day, when you look at the legislation that's happening in all governments all over the world, it's something that's mandated and happening. So at a certain point in time, we might be forced into it. But as you too, I look at the convenience of getting in my car and filling up my pump and driving a certain kilometers without having to worry about it. But I have friends that have electric vehicles that just drove to Florida actually, and I talked to him about that. And you get up and you put your route in play and make sure you have a full charge to start with, and it maps out the whole area where the charging is. And it's not like you stop for 2 hours for a complete charge. So what it does, it takes you in steps. So if you're driving to Florida, you're not going to drive all the time, because as coming back from the States today, had to stop for a pit stop before I came for nature calling, right? So you have that. And what I found interesting, it actually plans the route. So it'll take you so far, and it'll say, okay, you're going to stop for a 20-minute charge here. 20 minutes, you get up, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, do whatever else you want. You come in and then you continue to drive. And then your next stop is maybe a longer charge or even a lesser charge, but it takes you on the route of that to get you down there. So I found it quite interesting. And he said that pretty much the plan in play, it fit that where it was time where they needed to take a break anyways. But
so we got less than 2 minutes left. So website, anything like that, how does somebody get in touch with you if they want to find out a little more about getting into the housing market or even refinancing?
Yeah, so if you wanted to, you could go jeffkohler.ca, and that'll take you to my website or my phone number, and 226-926-5951. But even if you Googled my name, it'll usually come up with a site where you can get in touch with me. But fairly easy to get a hold of, and open to help anybody at any time.
So refinancing, paying some bills, reconsolidation, whatever.
It's
worth the talk, right?
Debt consolidation is something I think that people should always look at, talking to a mortgage agent or your bank prior to, consumer proposals might be the way to go at the end of the day. But if you have equity in your home, you can mitigate your monthly expenses if you use some of that equity to stretch it out. But talk to an agent and see what your options are at that time.
Let's go real quick here. Okay, first picture.
My beautiful wife.
Your wedding.
A day I'll never forget. So
here in town.
Actually, we were at the church in Port Stanley. So Jennifer's from Dexter Line. I married a Yeah, so
okay.
that picture is actually at the church
Excellent.
in Port Stanley. But-
Next picture, we got some pretty wicked socks here. It looks like the
well, I continue with that. So
these are like the grandchild.
yeah, that's my little baby Iris. Iris on the left and Amelia on the right. So quite often I mix it up. I'm actually wearing Amanda today. I don't know if that comes across on there or not, but yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. Now this one I found pretty funny because we've got quite the face with the old football cup here. So
yeah, so that's a picture of the Grey Cup. My two cousins, well, actually my cousins' two boys play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
And we were at their house with that. And a friend of mine that played football with my brother, Jed Tommy, is actually on that Grey Cup. And I'm pretending to, I sent him a message. I said, Jed, I can't find your name. And I got the file there. So it says this, I'm filing his name off the cup. So
that is awesome. Oh, you're filing.
Yeah.
Here's one I found a little while ago that actually, I don't even know why I put it up. I hate these kind of things, but there I donned a Kohler shirt and I was heading out doing some campaigning with you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think that speaks to our friendship. I've known you. I don't even know how many years now, Tony, but I certainly appreciate your friendship and your support. So yeah, we're.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
No, that was fun. That was fun. And then I found one here that it was a let's try that again. A St. Thomas landmark. Look at that.
Oh boy,
Out in front
yeah,
of Alma
that goes
College.
back a bit. That actually, I just got some goosebumps from that. Unfortunately, some sad times right there. We had a developer that came in with some grandiose plans but never followed through, and that's when I was mayor, and one of the items was protecting Alma College, and unfortunately, because of neglect, it was...
we all know what happened that day, but
exactly.
What a building, eh?
Yeah.
Now, what capacity were you at this time?
I was. I was mayor at that time.
You were mayor at this time. Okay.
Yeah, mayor at that time.
When I first moved here, I think that's when you were mayor. I was at the hospital Remembrance Day, and you were kind of standing off the side of me there, and you had the
chain office.
Yeah, and we were doing the service, and I never knew you at that time, but I think it was through Rogers TV and everything, and then filming council and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you've been a great friend over the years. It's been nice, and it's been a thrill to campaign and stuff for you too. But what I wanted to get into now, so we're going to close off because we're actually just over our time limit. But here's some rapid fire questions for you. Okay, really quick. So, what makes Jeff happy?
You know, serving people. I always enjoyed that, and especially if you can help them out. Some of my worst days is when somebody comes for help, and unfortunately, you can't help everybody. But just being of service to people.
Okay, so now let's flip it. What makes Jeff very unhappy?
Not being able to help people when they need that help. Unfortunately, that does happen sometimes.
Okay, all right. Now, say you and Jennifer, tomorrow morning. You're jumping on the plane and you're going anywhere in the world you want. Anywhere tomorrow. Where are you going?
Anguilla.
Anguilla.
Yeah, Anguilla.
Yeah,
So and if our preference would be, our whole family would be there with us. Jennifer and I live for our kids and our grandkids, and Anguilla became our sweetheart place. That's where Amanda attended med school. Okay. So yeah, we fell in love with that, and we ended up keeping the place that she ended up.
Maybe someday I might be able to get down there.
You would love it. I highly recommend it to everybody. It's a small island that a lot of people don't know about, but it's cool. A beautiful island.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. We're done. Thank you. If you're looking to get into the mortgage, remortgaging, getting a new house, whatever, maybe you want to buy additional income properties, talk to Jeff. Okay. Thanks for sitting on that big brown comfy couch.
Well, thanks for having me, Tony.
I
thoroughly enjoyed it. So.
Maybe another time, would you come back?
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
We'll get into a little bit more and see how times. Yeah, we got some exciting times coming up, right?
Absolutely. Hopefully, at that time, the market supply will be up, and
we'll see where we are. Okay. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, everybody, take care. We'll talk soon. Keep watching, and we'll let you know who the next guest will be. Ciao.